Welcome to the last day of the Showbie week. We've been holding exciting panel discussions and keynote speakers the whole week. And now we are coming, we have arrived at the favorite day, the Nordic day. My name is Jonny Gangsøy, and I'm the Education Director of Showbie Nordics. And my first meeting with Showbie was way back in 2014. And today, Showbie has over 3 million users in more than 180 countries. So I'm very proud, and I'm also very happy and privileged to be a part of the Showbie family. And it's, to me, it's also a Showbie adventure. Some practical information. You can ask questions during the session. Use the Q&A field on top of your screen. And the session will be around 30 minutes. And then we have take the questions in the end. I'm very happy to introduce the next speaker, which is Martin Bieber from Sweden. He's an assistant principal from a school in Malmö, in the south. It's a big city in the south of Sweden, Stenkullaskolan. And he's a very exciting man, and he also have a very exciting story. He's working in quite challenging economic and area of Malmö, and I think I just hand over the word to you, Martin. So please welcome Martin Bieber.
Thank you very much, Johnny. So my name is Martin Bieber, and as John said, I'm an assistant principal at Stenkullaskolan. We have had some issues when it comes to the technical part here. So when I say next Johnny, it's just that I need Johnny's help to take the next slide. So let's start. Why do you do what you do? Why are you a teacher? Now you're going too fast, Johnny. Go back to the why part, please.
Sorry.
It's no worries. Okay, so why do you do what you do? Why are you a teacher? Why are you a principal, or whatever you are? Why are you where you are? You are not a tree. You can move. So why are you located at the very place that you are today? And most importantly, why are you who you are? What values and events in your life has defined you and made you the person that you are today? These are questions that we ask ourselves at each another at Stenkullaskolan, each another every day, because the answer to them is the moral imperative and tells us a lot about ourselves and makes us understand a lot, so we can work together each and every day for all kids. Next, Johnny. In school today, you have technical issues and you have complex issues. Unfortunately, too many people today thinks that the school is a technical issue place where something happens, you can easily just fix it with a technical answer to a question. But because we are working with kids and we are working with people, every situation at school is a complex one. Why has this happened? What's the background to this story or this event that has happened? What does this kid carry with them when they come to school? Next, Johnny. So in Sweden, we can see that the results, you can press next, Johnny, the results are going up, but equity is going down. That's how we see it in Sweden. I think it's mostly over the whole of Europe. You can take the next one again. So Stenkullaskolan, it's located in Malmö. We have kids from 6 years old and up to 16 years old, about 600 students. 97% of them have Swedish as a second language. And at our school, 55 languages is represented. We have a central autism group, and we are the school in Malmö for kids with hearing aids. Yes, Johnny? Can take next one. Yeah. If you don't know anything about Malmö, the last thing you saw there was a bit of a map of Malmö, and we are located just outside of Rosengård. Rosengård, some of you might have heard of. It's where Zlatan Ibrahimovic comes from, and it's a very, very poor socioeconomic area. You can take the next one, Johnny. At our school, it's very, very important that we talk about all students. When it comes to statistics, some of the students are easily forgotten. Newly arrived students are not always counted, but at our school, all students are counted. We have right now about 100 newly arrived students. And with newly arrived, we mean that they haven't been to Sweden for more than 4 years. 32 of those students have only been to Sweden for 18 months. It says here that we have an expectation rate of 60%. That means that the municipality, when it have used statistics to make a count of how many students will succeed to get the golden ticket. And the golden ticket is when a kid succeed in math, Swedish, English, and 5 more subjects. So 60% of our students is expected to get the golden ticket. That means that each and every year, 23 students is left behind. 23 students is left behind in poverty or having a bad life in other ways. So at the very right is our results. And we have been 17%, 22%, and last year 20% over expectation rate. Right now, we are on our way to be between 20 and 25% over the expectation rate this year. This is not just numbers. This is actually 45 students who now are having a very much bigger chance in life to get a good life and to get a chance of living longer than they would otherwise. Next one, Johnny. And this is just to let you know how our students look like. Some of them already feel branded and feel like society has given up on them, but I think they look like kind of nice kids. Next one, please. So this is the truth. This is what science says. If you live in the right side of Malmö, in the right area of Malmö, and it's not my values, I mean the right side of Malmö, the right place in Malmö when it comes to socioeconomic standards. If you live in the western parts, you live 12 years longer than if you live in the eastern parts. If you take the next one, Johnny, in Stockholm, it's 18 years difference between where you actually grow up. If you take the next one, when it comes to get the golden ticket, to be able to succeed in math, Swedish, English, and 5 more subjects, the difference in life length is 10 years. So we're not just working with kids for the moment, we're working with the kids for the rest of their lives. Next one, please, Johnny. At our school, we have adopted Simon Sinek's thoughts about the golden circle. Simon Sinek says that successful organization and successful companies, they work from the inside out, from the why, and then to the how, and then to the what. But most companies and most organizations work from the outside in. For example, what are we going to do? Let's make a taxi company. How are we going to be a successful taxi company? Well, we have leather seats and we have a cup holder and cheap prices. And why are we going to do that? Well, I don't know. And that will not be a successful organization or company. If you go exactly the opposite, so you start from the middle, you start with the why, you start with a higher purpose. For example, at our school, our why is we make the world a better place. And we make the world a better place for a school in Malmö. That could sound quite, quite a big effort. But if we can get one of those 23 students that are left behind, if we could get just one of them to be able to receive the golden ticket, then they can be the role models for their siblings or their neighbors. They might be the first one who actually graduates from school. And that means that they will change a small part of Malmö. And Malmö is a part of Sweden, and Sweden is a part of the world. So we make the world a better place by giving the kids, to letting them have a chance to receive the golden ticket. So every decision and everything that we do at our school starts with our why. That is our focus. And the importance is that it's genuine, that it's not just something we say or write, but it's actually living inside the school department. Next one, Johnny. So how do we do that? Well, at our school, we work with inclusion. We include every kid. We give every kid a chance to decide their own future and to be a part of the whole. We think that the future for the world is better if we can all live in it and if we can all take each and every student's positive side and use them together. Next one. So if you take the why and you take the how, we could actually do anything. We could be leaders for a song group. We could be leaders for a football team. But what we do is that we make the world a better place through education to make a good school. And that's what we do. Next one, Johnny. People are our legacy. The kids at our school are not a negotiation or an obligation. Every single day, we feel motivated for the opportunity we have to change the outcome of a child's life. Our legacy is the outcome of our efforts to be the difference for all kids. If you press again, Johnny, please. I will try to tell you a bit of our school through stories about different kids. So the first one is that I got a kid in year 7. He was about my height, which is about 185 centimeters. He was really, really good looking. He was really, really smart, but he had trouble in school. He could be enormous popular uh, by doing the right things, but he was doing the wrong things. He was a leader and he was uh, continuously harassing people, beating people, and getting famous for that instead of getting famous for how brilliant he was. So at one time, I had to have him expelled for a shorter amount of time. So he did something really, really horrible. He told another guy in the classroom to record him when he beat another guy, and then they were putting it up on Snapchat. And if you do that, and if you have a warning before, you can be expelled for a couple of weeks in Sweden. And if you're expelled for a couple of weeks, the school is supposed to find new ways of how you are going to uh, make life easier for this kid. So I had a talk with him and his parents, and he said that he didn't care if he was expelled because he was going to change school anyhow. And I said, why are you going to change school? And he said that he had a lot of friends in another school that were more like him. So I asked him and I said that, do you think that your future will turn out better if you change school? If you hang out with other kids that are like you, do you think you will have a brighter future? And he didn't want to answer that. So then next question I asked him was, do you think that I want you to be in my school? And he said, no. And he said, why? Because trust you. And I said that the easiest thing for me would be to replace you, would be to send you to another school. That would be my easiest way out of this, because then I can focus on the other kids. But I don't want to do that. I want you to go here. I want you to use your skills, and I want you to graduate at this school because I believe in you. And then he was expelled for 2 days from everything in school. And the next week, he was expelled from all the lessons. So instead, he had to work in the cafeteria together with our student coordinator, because we wanted the student coordinator to be a role model for him. We wanted him to teach the kid how to use his leadership, how to use his good skills to be a better person. And the week after that, he could go to the lessons, but he was expelled from all the breaks. And then he had to work at the cafeteria. So he did all this. And at the coming fall, unfortunately, our student coordinator was homesick for 2 months. But just after 2 days, the kid stood in my office and he said, "Give me the cafeteria. I fix this." And he graduated from us, and he graduated with great grades. And he's now, I think he's a year from becoming an electrician. And he's the first in his family to actually be able to get a job. Next one, please, Johnny. And next again. There. So why is what we use to change things, and why is what we use to build our vision? Coherence, that was built by Michael Fullan in Ontario, is the lens that we use is to look at school. If you take the next one, please. Coherence is built with 4 quadrants. Focusing direction is a lot about why, it's a lot about the focus and where we want to go. Cultivating collaborative cultures is where we work together and build capacity, working with the growth mindset for our kids. Deepening learning is a way to make school more meaningful for students, to make them get more engaged in school. Accountability is the balance between the accountability you have from the municipality and accountability you have for your own class in school. And in the middle is the leadership. And the leadership is not what I do as a school leader. The leadership is what everybody do throughout the whole school. So each of our staff, regardless what your role is at school, has had education within Coherence. You can take the next one, Johnny. And our main focus is the deepening learning part, because we can see that what we don't have fully is engaged kids, is kids that really, really like school, because the older they get, the more meaningless the school is, according to them. You can take the next one, Johnny. The other thing that we work with culture intelligence, and culture intelligence is actually something that Julia Middleton has written a lot about. You can take the next one, Johnny. And she's talking about that every person has a core, and the core is your core values. Those are the ones that define you. Those are the ones that you cannot compromise with those. Those are you. The flex values, which is different between how big the flex values, the flex value part is different between different people. But those are the values that you can actually change during your lifetime. They might define some parts of you, but not you. And she has a story about when she was going to have a talk, have a speech or talk at a big meeting in New York, and she was going to talk to 300 business women. So the same day in New York, she brought 2 really nice dresses because she wanted to look really, really nice. She chose one of them and she went down to the subway, going to the place where she was going to have her speech. and the dress was torn. The dress was torn in the doors of the subway. So she looked at the clock and she was wondering, do I have the time to get back to the hotel and get my other dress? And she said that she might have the time, but in her core values is that you are always going to be in time, because otherwise you are taking other people's time, and that's not okay. As an English businesswoman, you have to be in time. See, she went to the event and she started a speech, but about 15 to 30 minutes into the speech, she saw that no one was looking at her. No one was listening to her. So she stopped and she said, "What's wrong? Why aren't you listening?" And the businesswoman said, "Just look at you. Let's look at how your presentation is, how you look with your torn dress." Because at their core values, it was much more of how you look than if you were in time. And that's the difference between different core values. You can actually do an easy test with this. You can actually do um, an easy session at your school with this one. Just take a post-it note, and if you're a group with, let's say, 6 to 15 people, and you take a post-it note, each and every one take a post-it note, and you write down your 6 most core values, the 6 things that really, really defines you. And then when you've done that, you get up and you go to someone in the room, hopefully someone that you don't know that good, and you give them your post-it note and the pen, and you take their post-it note and their pen, and then you cross over one of the values that you don't think is so special or so important. And then you go to you take back your own post-it note and your own pen, and you go to the next one. And when you have done this 3 times, you sit down and you look at your post-it note, and you can see what core values others don't think is as important as you think. I can say that this test or this assignment or whatever you call it is really, really hurtful. It's both hurtful that someone crosses over something that is really, really important to you, and it's really, really hurtful to actually cross over something that's really, really important to them. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I've done this twice, and both of the time I have been very, very close to losing my temper, because the most important thing in my life is to be a father. That is what I was looking most for when I was young, and that is what I'm most proud of in my life. And both times that I've done this, daddy was the first thing, or father was the first thing that was crossed over. One of the times I was going to take the person that crossed it over and just throw them out of the 17th floor of the apartment. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that. But it's a very tough thing to do with your colleagues, but it's a very, very good thing to do. Next one, please, Johnny. So culture intelligence is a lot to do with know me before you teach me. Because what we're doing each and every day at our school and at all other schools is that if we don't know the kids or know the staff before we teach them or talk to them, then we might actually hurt them, and we might actually cross over some of their core values. So if you take the next one, Johnny, I will give you 2 examples from my own experience. The first one with the young male here is, I was up in the hallway outside of all the lesson rooms, where I found one of the guys. He's a really brilliant guy. He was in the 8th grade, and he had just been to Sweden for like 3 years, so he was really, really bad in English, and he was just flying around outside in the hallway. And I knew that he had an English lesson, so I used all my skills. I thought I was really, really good at this, so I used my skills. I hold him by his shoulder and I gently pushed him into the lesson. And there was the teacher, and there were 6 girls sitting around the table, and I made him sit at one of the chairs and said that you're going to be here and you're going to talk English with the other ones here. And I was very happy with myself, and I went for another walk around the school, and I came back 15 minutes later, and I found him outside again, just flying around doing everything that he shouldn't be able to, he shouldn't do. So a little more was I was not as nice the next time I took him into the classroom. And I placed him at the back of the classroom, and I gave him a paper and a pen. And I said that I want you to write down on this piece of paper why you're not going to attend this class. And I want you to do it in English. And I went out again, and I was feeling quite good with myself because I have made him um, work with English. And I was away for about 15 minutes. And when I came to my office, at my keyboard, to my computer, there was a paper, and it was in a little ball. So I took it and I wrapped it open, and in Swedish, and I'm sorry for cursing here, it says that because I don't understand a goddamn thing. And I think everyone who has worked in school have felt really bad for what they have done to kids. And this was one of the opportunities, one of the one of the happenings where I felt really, really bad because I did not know him before I taught him. So immediately I looked him up and I apologized for what I've done. And about a year later, he was into my office and he closed the door and he sat down and we talked to each other and said, "Remember when you forced me to go to that English lesson?" And I said, "Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, but yeah, I do." And then he said that I finally got a grade in English. I finally succeeded in English. And I really wanted you to know that. So then him and me, we cried a bit. And we were actually going to do that quite often when it comes to his English. But that's one story. The other story about the girl here is that I had a young girl in grade 7. She was absolutely brilliant. She didn't do good at school, but she was so smart, and she was really annoyed by me. She didn't like me at all. She thought that I was pushy. She thought that I was onto her all the time and wanted her to go to lessons and wanted her to do her best. And she was really, really annoyed. And one time I threw her and two of her friends out of a room because they weren't supposed to be there. And I found a paper there, and it was a letter written by her, and it was all about how bad I was. It was how much she hated me and how much she really, really thought that I was, yeah, a cruel person and a bad person. And she used a lot of cursing words, and it was all written in English. So, of course, I took it to the English teacher and I said, "Could you please grade this?" And the English teacher said, "This is absolutely brilliant written." So she got an A on that. And then I looked her up and I said, "Remember that letter you wrote about me in that room?" And she said, she was really embarrassed because she thought that I didn't find it. And I said, "I took it to the English teacher and you got a grade A on that." And from that day, our relationship really changed because I knew that what her problem was that she didn't trust any adult, and she didn't trust me that I really wanted her best. So when she actually did something really, really bad, I turned it around and did it so it was something really, really good. And after that, we had a quite good relationship, and she went out of school with really, really good grades. So that is know me before you teach me. Next one, please, Johnny. One more round is influenced by Hamish Brewer, a brilliant principal from New Zealand, now living in USA. And he has done it with, he's talking about the boxing terms and doing the one more round, that each and every kid should really have one more round inside them. What we have done at our school is one more round is, I demand that each and every one adult at our school, each and every one of the staff should have one more round inside them for every kid. As long as there's a lesson left, there's a chance left for the kid to actually succeed in school. At the same time, I have very high expectations of every student. So each and every student should have one more round inside them and never give up. So one more round is really what defines us. It's the coherence and the why all together. Next one, please, Johnny. And next one again. As I said before, the equity is going down. So what we have done is that we have started after school activities at our school, because our students, many of them doesn't afford to have activities on the free time. So after school and before they go home, they have a chance of baking, have a student support with homeworks, playing football. We have a group for girls to discuss issues. And school EF is a Swedish word. It's actually, it's a group of students at higher years, higher grades that works with students who are younger, giving them different sport activities. So that's what we do with the after school activities. If you change, please, Johnny. So during school, at activities, during breaks at school, we have outdoor games, playing chess, PlayStation, letting them try to make jewelry or working creative, and also working with virtual reality. Next, please. And the staff that doing it, I actually wrote staff/heroes, because I think that hero is actually quite a good word for staff at schools doing everything for kids. We have student coordinators. They work a lot with the social mentorship. So it's not about the pedagogy, it's about what's happening outside of the classroom. Because if we can make the outside of the classroom work fine, then we can really concentrate on the subjects when going into the lessons. And every time with all the kids, we work in teams with special education and healthcare and well-being, working all together for the kids. Yes, please, next one. This is something that shows how we work, that we want to change the environment as well. So we have different quotes up. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. It should actually say something about what we want the kids to do each and every day. The picture down to the left is our wall. When you come to the school, is a 10 times 7 meters high wall with 8 people that has really made a difference in the world. And we have to make the world a better place. We have different screens hooked up to Apple TV, so we can work with the kids in the classroom in the ways that they really learn the best. And we have we wanted a place for teachers and students to meet. So we made a cafeteria that actually looks like a cafeteria that you can go to in the city. So that's the last picture there. You can change here.
Yeah. You have 2 more minutes now to wrap it up, Martin.
Then we
Is
take
that okay?
the next one. We take the next one because I have the most important thing is still to come. We use digitalization for inclusion. So you can have the next one. And digitalization for inclusion means that if you take the next slide there, we use the iPad for inclusion with all the different things that you can do with the iPad to have more kids succeed in school. every teacher is an Apple teacher, and we use this everyone to create, to be able for the students to really show their skills. Next one. I will actually not talk about this one. This one is an example. If you take the next one, please, Johnny. This is an example of and you can just press them. Next one, and next one. So I can just say this is a kid in year 2 who couldn't write and couldn't read. So the PE teacher did an interactive story with Keynote so that he could play a game and therefore gain knowledge, so he could go further and really show his skills without reading and without writing. So the next one, I think, is the most important thing that I want to talk about. Yes, so have you been the difference for kids today? This is something that's on every mirror at staff toilets in Hamish Brewer's school. And I'm not going to go there, but if you take the next one, please. I will just end this session by talking about the importance of why, because I had a girl in year 8 that had great grades when she was in the 6th grade. And when she came into the 7th grade, her grades were going down. And we did absolutely everything we could for her, but we couldn't manage to get her to do anything. She was throwing her iPads into the wall. She was throwing cooking water on someone, boiling water on someone, and we couldn't manage to get her to actually do what she was supposed to do. And one time during a session where she and her father were talking to a teacher about her grades, one of our healthcare people was walking by and they saw that something is not right here. So they went into the room and the father was very upset with the girl. He was screaming at her. He was screaming at the teacher. So the healthcare staff wanted the kid to be staying behind because they wanted her to fill in some forms. And this was just a story because there were no forms, but they wanted her to be there so they could talk to her. The father raised up and he went away and he said, you can go, come back by your own. I won't drive you with these grades. And they asked the student how she felt. And then she started crying and she was telling us that she was beaten. She was beaten by her father, and that was what happened the last 2 years. So we informed the social workers, and the social workers took her to a secret place in Malmö. And for the coming 3 weeks, we went there each and every day to give her some school stuff to do because she really wanted to succeed in school. She said that, but this had been blocking her. And one time when we went there, she wasn't there. There had been a big white minivan there, and she was gone. And this was in June. And we could follow this because her father was charged for kidnapping, her cousins were charged for kidnapping, and her uncle was charged for kidnapping. The summer went, and in August, I get a call here from the municipalities who said that she must be in school. You must have her on the list. She is abroad. She has been taken to another country, but please do have her on the list because that's the only way to get her back. And then we didn't hear anything in August, September, October, November. But then in December, I got a call from a place up in Stockholm where they said that they actually gotten her home. They gotten her back, and they needed us to tell them how she was doing at school because she really wanted to succeed in school. And the well-being, the healthcare person that was there the first time was walking by the room. So I took her into the room and I told her this, and she was just laying down on the floor crying for 15 minutes because she was certain that the girl was dead. But the girl didn't die, and the girl has succeeded in school, and she's doing a great life now. And this is what having a genuine why, this is what one more round means. Next one, please, Johnny, and I will wrap this up.
Every single organization on the planet knows what they do. These are the products you sell or the services you offer. Some know how they do it. whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your USP. It's the things that you think make you special or different or better than your competition. But very, very few people in very, very few organizations can clearly state why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make money. That's a result. Why did you get out of bed this morning? And why should anyone care?
Thank you very much for letting me have the chance to talk to you about Stenkulaskolan. I'm sorry that I had to rush it by the end. I was really excited. I thought it was going to be even shorter when I was speaking English, but thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about our chance to make a difference in the world. And that's what we are in school for. You can take the next one, Johnny, and that's the last slide.
Thank you very much, Martin.
Thank you.
I actually had the goosebumps during some of your stories. And I think the main points that we can take from this is what you said, know me before you teach me. I think that's a very important lesson to take from what you recently said. And that also is something that Michael Fullen, as you mentioned, is very concerned about, because so many students are disconnected in the education systems in the Western world. So, and again, thank you very much, Martin, for sharing. And as I said, I actually still have goosebumps, actually. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, see you hopefully another day.
Yes.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.